guys, welcome to the studio today. I'm shooting at Ecosfera Resort and Spa in Canggu, Bali. Today I want to focus a bit more on yin practice. So yoga, very much we get into a space where we like to move and we like to breathe and we like to flow, but yin is a practice of just settling in, letting go of reactivity and allowing things to come up. It's also a very healing and nourishing practice for the physical body as well as the mind. And so today we're going to look into the Kidney Meridian, which is also paired with the urinary bladder meridian. And within traditional Chinese medicine, this is a space where we hold a lot of fear. It also can correlate if you study the chakra system with the second chakra, which is Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana chakra is a space where we hold a lot of emotions. So it sits in this pelvic bowl here, and it's kind of known as the sea or the lake of emotions. And so when we work with the hips, we work with any abduction or extension of the hips, sometimes things can come up. So it could be frustration, it can be fear, it could be pain mentally or physically. And so we're going to dive a little bit into that today. So we're going to focus a bit on the hips, dive into a bit of that kidney and urinary bladder line in the meridians, and yeah, we'll go ahead and start. So we'll go ahead and start seated with our feet forward. So stretch the legs out in front of you. And for Janu Sirsasana, bend the right foot or right knee and bring the right foot to the inside of the left knee. And we're going to open the left leg out a little bit wider. Square the shoulders over the left leg and inhale, reach up through the arms. Exhale, fold down. So if you can't come too far down, stay on the palms. If you could come to the forearms, do so, or all the way. If you have props with you, you can always use the block, bring forehead to a block, folding down, but finding a way to just stay in the pose. Come into a space of stillness. Shut the eyes down and begin to cultivate that breath. So equal inhalations and exhalations through the nostrils. And take 4 more rounds of breath. And peel the chest up. Bring the right hand behind the right hip. Press the hips forward. Set the left foot down and reach the left arm back. Finding length all the way down the front side of the body. Bring the left hand behind the head. Open the chest. So we move into the abduction here and also into the flexors. So moving into the groin of the hips. Opening here. Getting a nice belly and heart stretch too. Set the hips down and bend the left knee, bring the left foot behind the left glute. Let the top of the foot set down on the ground. And we're going to just turn towards the right. Open the chest back over the right shoulder, come onto the fingertips. Then slowly come back through center. Bring the bolster or a pillow, any kind of prop here, back behind the hips. And for some of you, this can be quite intense. So if you have tight hips, you'll want to build your props up quite big. So you might want a couple of pillows, a couple of blocks. We're going to slowly come down. So you could come onto your palms. For some of you, this might be as far as you go. That's completely fine. You'll feel this length into the left quadricep, into the groin. Stay here. If you'd like to come down further, release the back onto the bolster or your props. And the arms can stretch up overhead. Also, if there's any shoulder issues, any issues with the rotator cuff, it might feel better to just bend the elbows, open the heart space here. Slowly coming up. And stretch both legs out in front of you. And switching sides. So we're going to bend the left knee, bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Bring the right leg out a little bit wider. Square the shoulders over the right leg. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, come down to your edge. Maybe you stay upright, maybe you come all the way down. Maybe a block sits under the forehead and you let the head drop in. And slowly peel the chest up. Remove any props that you don't need. Left hand behind the left hip. Press the hips up and forward. Set the right foot down. Reach back with the right arm. Maybe the right hand to the back of the head. Open the heart space. So feel this length move through the right quadricep, into the groin, and across the hips. Nice open expansion across the chest, opening the heart space. And slowly set the hips down. Bend the right knee, place the right foot back behind the right glute. Make sure the top of the foot is on the earth. Get the hips grounded. Bring that pillow or the bolster to the base of the spine. And again, you can come down onto the palms and just stay here. If the knees are already popping up, this is where you want to be. Or maybe you come down lower and find a space for the arms. Elbows bent, arms extended, anything that feels good for you today. Slowly begin to peel the chest up. Turn towards the left. Come onto the fingertips, twisting from the belly. Look back over the left shoulder. Come back to center. Bring the right foot forward. Create a diamond shape here with the feet. Hands resting on the knees or the shins. Inhale, open the chest. And exhale, slowly begin to fold forward. If you're really, really upright, bring a bolster on top of the feet, forehead to the top of the bolster. Finding a way to let the cervical spine rest here and disengage. If you're open, bring the chest down towards the bolster. Lie it flat over the legs. You can take a cheek to the bolster as well. And just take 5 breaths here. And slowly peel the chest up. Move the bolster off to the side. And go ahead and stack the right shin on top of the left. So you want the right shin on top of the left. We're all going to look different. So some of you might be looking at me going, there's no way I'm going there. Right knee might be way up here. If so, find a way to prop it. Use a book, a block, anything that you need here. Hands resting on the shins. Inhale. Dorsiflex the right toes towards the right shin to protect the knee. And when you're ready, fold a little bit forward. So again, some of you might just stay on the palms. This might be quite intense for the right glute. When we go into that abduction, the hips start to freak out a little bit. So just breathe into it. For some of you, you might come down to the forearms. If you're on the forearms, you might even be able to bring a block in front of the head, bring the head down to the block. And find a way just to relax into the pose. 5 breaths. Slowly peel the chest up. And we switch sides. Left shin on top of the right, trying to square them as much as you can. This is going to be rarely perfect. If the left knee is popping up, prop it up. Find your edge, peel the chest up, and lean the weight forward, maybe staying onto the palms, coming down to a block. And find what feels best for you. So we're just working into that left glute. And allowing for the slight abduction here in the hips. And feel the chest up. So bring your pillow, your bolster in front of you. We're going to come into a deeper hip opening for our last pose. So you're going to want to come onto the knees, bend up the edges of the yoga mat. If you have very sensitive knees, I would say use pillows under the knees. And we want to take the knees as wide as we can. You want the knees to be in line with the hips, the ankles in line with the knees. So we're creating 90-degree bends. Toes are pointing out. So get the knees as wide as they can go. And you'll come onto the palms or the forearms, or maybe bringing chest all the way down to a pillow or a bolster. You can also prop this with many pillows, many bolsters. But we want to allow the knees to open up as wide as they can. If we're bringing the upper body weight forward like a frog, use the elbows to press the hips back in line with the knees. So this should not be a comfortable pose. It's quite uncomfortable. But we begin to move into that fear. So just breathe in, let go of the need to perfect. And just allow yourself to relax into this pose with every exhale. So it doesn't matter if you're all the way down to the ground. It just matters that you feel this opening into the groin, into the hips. And begin to identify the sensations that come up. So instead of identifying them as painful or bad, noticing if it's more emotional or physical. And acknowledge it and see if you can use your exhalation to stay, to be present, to let go, to surrender. Just allow gravity to do the work here. When we talk about the kidney and the urinary bladder meridian, when we work with fear, many times the best things that happen to us in our lives or on the yoga mat, those big breakthroughs, were scary as hell at first. So just to let yourself have the emotions come up, but see if you can let them go and detach. Let's take 5 more breaths here. And then we'll slowly begin to peel the chest up. Bring the feet in towards the glutes first, and then begin to close the knees step by step. So take your time and just come back to sitting on the heels. Let's take a moment here before finalizing our practice. Hands resting on the knees, palms shining up. Just allowing that energy or that courage to come in through the palms, to enter the body, the physical and the mental. And take one hand to heart, one hand to belly. Just feel the organic nature of who you are. And feeling the rise and fall here in the belly and the chest. And breathing in deep gratitude. Even deep gratitude for that fear that comes up, for those emotions, that vulnerability. And these aren't weaknesses, they're natural human instincts. So allowing yourself that capability to accept. Take a deep breath in, deep sigh out. Again, deep inhale, deep sigh out. Everything that you need to release. Hands together at heart center, bowing down towards self. And acknowledging that light and dark that exists within each of us. And trying to be neither light or dark, but understanding that we are composed of both. And being content with that ebb and flow of life. As we dance through the shadows into the sunlight. And just allowing that courage to come into your body. And thumbs between third eye center. Bowing down, we say Namaste. Thank you guys for joining on the yoga mat today. If you found this yoga class because you were searching for working with the kidney bladder and urinary bladder, or working with fear, then maybe this is already something that you're open and vulnerable to. And if you found it by chance, well then let it just be coincidence. But this is something I think that all of us experience at some point in our lives, that fear of being vulnerable, of letting things go or letting things in. But using your practice on the yoga mat to really find a space of self-inquiry, of svadhyaya, as they say in Sanskrit, of truly diving in and creating an intimate relationship with self. It's one of those things that, you know, when you come onto the yoga mat and you're on this little rectangle, you're protected from everything else. There's nothing else that can kind of penetrate what's happening within you on the yoga mat. So just being okay and accepting of that, and knowing that this is a safe space that you've created for yourself to express and to freely explore. So I really congratulate you for showing up and for doing the first steps of that self-inquiry, and I hope that you find luck and nourishment on your journey. For any more practices that you would like to join me on, you can find me at youtube.com/Echo Giselle Widmer. And you can find out about my retreats and trainings around the world at echoflowyoga.com or echo_around the world on IG. Thank you guys for joining in, and I'll see you on the yoga mat next time.